In the grand hall of the Galactic Council, laughter filled the air. Hundreds of alien delegates sat in their shining seats, watching a hologram of Earth spinning slowly in the center of the chamber. To them, Earth was nothing more than a small, noisy planet, a world that fought itself more than its enemies. The aliens whispered among themselves, their voices sharp and proud. "Look at them," one alien said, his golden skin reflecting the lights of the hall. "Always emotional, always divided," another delegate added with a smirk. "They call themselves humans, but they still fight over water and food." The laughter grew louder, echoing through the vast dome. They called Earth the Blue Mistake. At the edge of the hall stood Captain Mira Kane, the human envoy sent to represent Earth. She stood tall, her hands locked behind her back, her eyes calm but burning with quiet anger. She listened as the aliens mocked her world, their words cutting deep. Finally, when the laughter slowed, Mira took a step forward. Her voice was firm but controlled. "Members of the council," she said, "you laugh at us because you do not understand us. You see weakness, but you do not see what that weakness hides." A tall alien with silver scales raised a brow. "And what does it hide, human?" Mira looked directly at him. "It hides fire, and you will regret waking it." The hall went silent for a heartbeat, then the laughter returned, even louder this time. "Fire?" One delegate mocked. "You mean those primitive rockets you still use?" Another added, "Tell your people to stop dreaming of war. Leave the stars to those who belong here." The Supreme Chancellor of the Council finally stood up. His voice was cold and final. "Captain Kane, Earth will obey our new order. No warships. No faster-than-light travel. No colonies beyond your Mars. Break this order and your planet will face consequences." Mira's fists tightened. "And what happens?" she asked softly. "When your people cross the line first?" The Chancellor smiled thinly. "That will never happen." That night, far from the Council's shining halls, a small human research outpost orbited a quiet moon near Jupiter. Inside, scientists laughed softly as they worked, unaware of what was coming. Without warning, the stars outside flashed red. Sensors screamed. Alien warships appeared out of nowhere, ships flying the banner of one of the Council races, the Vectrians. Before the humans could send a distress call, the first blast hit. The station shook violently. Fire filled the corridors. "Eject the data pods," someone shouted. "Send the signal to Earth," then came silence. The outpost was gone. Official reports later called it an accident. The Vectrians claimed their targeting systems malfunctioned. The Council accepted their apology. Earth did not. In an underground base beneath the deserts of Nevada, a secret meeting took place. Human generals, scientists, and political leaders sat around a long steel table. Captain Mira Kane was there too, her face cold and unreadable. A hologram of the destroyed outpost flickered before them. "They say it was a mistake," one general muttered. "An accident." "Accident," Mira repeated softly. "They think we'll believe that?" The room fell silent. For years, humanity had tried to join the galaxy peacefully. They had followed the Council's rules, shared their science, respected every border. And yet the galaxy still laughed at them. "They think we are weak," another general said. "That's why they hit us. They want to remind us of our place." Mira looked up. Her eyes were calm, but behind them, the fire she had warned about was now burning bright. "Then maybe it's time," she said. "They learn what that weakness hides." Across the planet, silent orders began to move. Under the oceans, submarines that were said to be decommissioned came back online. In the deserts, hidden hangars opened, revealing ships that the Council never knew existed. In secret labs, engineers powered up new drives, prototypes banned by alien law. The world above continued as normal. News stations reported peace. Politicians smiled. But beneath the surface, humanity was preparing. They didn't shout. They didn't threaten. They simply waited. Because Earth had learned long ago that true power doesn't roar. It whispers. Days later, deep in the control center of an old Earth defense satellite, a single light blinked. A small silent transmission left Earth's orbit, coded, encrypted and invisible to alien sensors. It wasn't meant for the Council, it wasn't meant for anyone to hear. But if someone had been listening in the void between stars, they would have caught a fragment of the message, just one short line of human words. "For every life taken, 10 shall rise. For every laugh, the stars will burn. The signal vanished into the darkness, carried across the endless night. On Earth, the generals stood in silence, staring at their screens. Captain Mira whispered the words softly, almost like a promise. Let them laugh. One last time. Ending suspense. The Galactic Council laughed at the idea of human revenge. They had no idea that deep below Earth's oceans and deserts, engines were waking, quiet, patient, and ready. And soon, the galaxy would remember the fire Mira Kane spoke of. Space looked calm above Mars, but silence often hides storms. Alien fleets patrolled the red planet's orbit, their silver ships gleaming in the sun. The alien commanders inside laughed as they watched human cargo vessels crawl slowly below. Still using chemical fuel? One alien said, grinning at the sluggish ships. Earth will never learn, another replied. They should have stayed on their little blue rock. They didn't know they were being watched. Far below the orbit, hidden behind the shadows of Mars's smaller moon, a dark object floated quietly. It didn't send signals, didn't reflect light, didn't appear on scanners. It was human. It was listening. On Earth, the Galactic Council's message had been clear. No retaliation, no weapons, no expansion. And yet the Council was uneasy. The humans hadn't protested. They hadn't sent angry broadcasts or public complaints. They were silent. And that silence frightened even the proudest alien leaders. Deep under the frozen ice of Antarctica, a massive elevator opened to reveal a secret city, Project Vengeance. Thousands of humans worked in complete secrecy, constructing something the galaxy had forbidden. Stealth ships with faster-than-light engines. The air was filled with the hum of machines and the glow of blue reactors. Engineers moved quickly, welding plates, testing drives, uploading combat AIs that were smarter, faster, and colder than any alien system. At the center of it all stood Captain Mira Kane. She wore a dark uniform, her hair tied back, her eyes fixed on a holographic model of the new ship. It was unlike anything ever built by humanity. A black angular vessel with no visible weapons, no heat signature and no name. Dr. Leon Hart, the chief scientist, stepped beside her. Still no official name? He asked. Mira smiled faintly. A weapon doesn't need a name. It only needs a purpose, he nodded. And what's its purpose, Captain? She turned toward the glowing engines. To remind them that humans don't bow. 3 weeks later, the alien patrols near Mars reported something strange. At 0300 hours, one cruiser detected a sudden energy spike, then darkness. Every system went offline. When they rebooted, the ship beside them was gone. No explosion, no distress call, just gone. The aliens searched for days but found nothing. When they reported to the Council, the official response was simple. Sensor malfunction. Nothing to worry about. But the officers who had seen the event knew it wasn't a malfunction. They had felt the tremor through space itself. Something powerful had moved, something silent and unseen. Back on Earth, inside Project Vengeance, Mira listened to the transmission with calm eyes. The test was successful, her communications officer reported. Target eliminated, no trace left behind. Good, Mira said softly. And the Council? They're mocking us again, the officer said bitterly. They think our ships are breaking down. Let them think that, Mira replied. The quieter we stay, the louder the shock will be. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council met in panic. The Vectrians, the species responsible for the accidental attack on the human outpost, had lost 4 patrol ships. No one knew why. Some claimed human sabotage. Others said rogue pirates. But deep down, every alien leader felt the same cold fear. They had awakened something dangerous. The Chancellor slammed his clawed hand on the table. Humans are too primitive for this. They cannot hide ships from our sensors. A shadowy voice from the corner spoke quietly. Then explained the missing fleets. Silence filled the hall. In the following weeks, more incidents happened. A convoy of alien supply ships vanished in the asteroid belt. A Council listening post near Jupiter was destroyed by an unknown weapon. Even the satellites that watched Earth started to fail one by one. The Council sent warnings. Earth said nothing. They demanded answers. Earth remained silent. But something was speaking. Something hidden within human transmissions, deep in encrypted frequencies. A message was being sent, but not to aliens. It was being sent to hidden human fleets scattered across the solar system. In a secret orbital hangar above the dark side of the moon, human engineers finished assembling the first operational stealth warship. Its hull shimmered like liquid shadow, absorbing all light around it. They called it the Ghost of Earth. When its engines powered up, no sound was heard, no energy was detected. It simply vanished into the blackness of space. Its mission was simple: watch, learn, and strike only when necessary. Captain Mira watched its launch from a control tower. The ship disappeared into the void, leaving only faint ripples in the stars. "May the galaxy never see you coming," she whispered. Soon after, the storm began without thunder. No warnings, no declarations, just silence before destruction. In the dark region near Jupiter, the void shimmered for a moment. Dozens of alien ships drifted there, their crews relaxed, laughing, confident. They were part of the Council's patrol fleet assigned to watch humans and make sure Earth stayed obedient. They joked about how slow human ships were. They bragged about the accidental destruction of the human outpost months ago. Then their sensors flickered. "Command, are you reading this?" a Vecchian officer asked. Static answered him. He turned to his navigator. "Check the scanners again." The navigator's frills twitched nervously. "Sir, there's something out there." "What do you mean, something?" "It's not showing on radar, but it's close. Very close." Before the officer could reply, the stars outside bent and disappeared. A massive shadow moved silently across their viewport. No signal, no engine light, no life signs, just blackness. Like space itself had come alive. Then came the flash. The alien cruiser split in two. No explosion, no fire. Just clean disintegration, as if reality had been sliced open. The other ships screamed alerts, turning weapons toward the unknown target. But they saw nothing. One by one, their power systems failed. Their communications died. Then the cold came. Deep, silent, final. The fleet was gone within minutes. On Earth, deep inside the Project Vengeance command center, Captain Mira Kane stood in front of a dark screen. The data feed from the Ghost Fleet scrolled silently. Each line showed the same result: target neutralized. 0 survivors, no detection. Dr. Leon Hart looked uneasy. "They'll know soon." Mira nodded slowly. "Yes, but by then we'll already be moving." She turned to her officers. "Send the message to all fleets. Operation Retribution begins." The room came alive. Lights flashed. Holograms of alien systems appeared. Human fleets, previously hidden inside asteroid belts, mining colonies, and deep space shadows began to move as one. The first human retaliation had begun. Hours later, across the galaxy, the Council received an emergency transmission. Patrol Fleet Delta destroyed. By whom? Unknown. No survivors. Our sensors can't detect the attackers. The Council hall filled with panic. The Chancellor slammed his clawed hand against the table. "This can't be humans. They don't have this kind of technology." But another delegate, his voice shaking, replied, "Then explain the debris we found. Human alloys, human patterns, human precision." The room went silent. Someone whispered, "They warned us." While the Council argued, Earth's fleet struck again, this time at the Vecchian home system. 5 black warships appeared at the edge of their star, dropping out of stealth like ghosts rising from fog. Each vessel released hundreds of small drones, machines built for one purpose: eradication. They moved faster than light, faster than sensors could react. Alien defense ships tried to engage but failed. Their weapons couldn't even lock on. Every time a Vecchian fired, the human ships had already vanished. And every time they reappeared, another alien vessel exploded into dust. The attack lasted exactly 7 minutes. When it ended, the once bright Vecchian capital world floated in silence, its orbital stations burning. In the aftermath, the Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. Many of them wanted to retaliate immediately. Others wanted peace. The Chancellor roared, "Earth has broken the Council's law. They must be punished." But an older alien, his skin pale and wrinkled, whispered, "Punished? Chancellor, do you even know where their fleets are now?" The Chancellor hesitated. The old alien leaned forward. "They disappeared from our sensors weeks ago. For all we know, they're already here." The Council chamber went silent. Every alien turned toward the windows where stars shone bright and still. But for the first time, none of them felt safe looking at them. Back on Earth, Captain Mira stood before her crew inside the flagship Aurora's Spear. The command deck was dark, filled with quiet tension. The ship had no windows, only holographic projections showing the galaxy around them. Mira watched the chaos across alien networks. Every broadcast, every communication was filled with fear. "They finally stopped laughing," she said softly. Her second-in-command, Commander Reyes, nodded. "They're demanding we surrender." "The Council is calling us terrorists." Mira smiled faintly. "Terrorists? No, we're teachers, and they're finally learning." Reyes looked at her. "What's the next target?" "Their supply lines," she said. "Cut their food, cut their ships, cut their voice. Leave them in silence." In the next 48 hours, human fleets struck at 15 alien systems. No warning, no declaration, communications hubs vanished. Fuel stations exploded. War fleets disappeared without a trace. The galaxy had never seen such speed, such precision. Humans used everything the Council had forbidden. AI coordination, nanoweapons, dark drives that could tear through dimensions. It was as if Earth had been preparing for this moment for decades. Some alien captains surrendered instantly, transmitting pleas for peace. Others tried to fight and were erased before they could fire. The galaxy trembled. A desperate Council transmission reached Earth's solar system.
"Humans, stop your attacks!"
"You are violating galactic peace." No reply. They sent another message. "If you do not stop, we will send every fleet we have." Still no reply. But one signal did appear across all alien networks, a small video feed. Captain Mira Kane's calm face appeared, illuminated by the blue glow of her command deck. Her voice was steady and cold. "You wanted to test our weakness. Now test our resolve." Then the feed ended. Seconds later, 3 of the Council's forward fleets disappeared from all sensors. Panic turned into chaos. Alien governments began to collapse. Some worlds closed their borders, afraid that helping the Council would bring human wrath upon them. Merchants fled, soldiers deserted, and whispers spread across the stars. The humans are coming. The Council tried one last desperate move. They sent their largest fleet, over 600 warships, toward Earth. The galaxy watched the live broadcast of their journey, confident that the humans couldn't possibly win. But when the fleet entered the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, they found nothing, no Earth ships, no defenses. Then their systems began to shut down, one by one, engines offline, weapons offline, communications offline. Hundreds of ships floated helplessly in silence. Through the static, a single human voice echoed through their speakers. "This is Aurora's Spear. You entered our home. You will not leave." Then came the flashes, silent explosions lighting the belt like falling stars. Minutes later, 600 alien ships were gone, far away. In the Council's capital world, the Chancellor received the final report. His hand shook as he read the message. "Fleet Omega, destroyed. 0 survivors." He stared into the screen, unable to speak. Around him, delegates whispered in terror. "What now?" one asked. The Chancellor's voice broke as he whispered, "Pray they stop." On Aurora's Spear, Captain Mira watched the wreckage drift in space. Commander Reyes turned to her. "They'll come again." Mira's eyes stayed fixed on the stars. "Then we'll be ready again." Dr. Leon's voice came through the comms. "Captain, the galaxy is panicking." "We're being called monsters." Mira smiled faintly. "Good. Fear is the only language they understand, ending suspense." As Mira turned away, an officer spoke quietly. "Captain, we intercepted something. A signal from the Council's core world." Mira frowned. "Play it." The voice that came through was trembling, desperate, almost pleading. "To all human commanders, we surrender, please. Stop." Mira stood in silence for a long time, her expression unreadable. Then she said softly, "They're only sorry because they're afraid." The lesson isn't over. Her gaze turned toward the stars, cold and determined. "Now we go to their heart." The fleet's engines ignited, the stars stretching into streaks of white light. And with that, humanity's wrath moved deeper into the galaxy, silent, unstoppable, and merciless. The Galactic Council's great chambers were filled with noise and disbelief. Reports from the frontier systems played across floating screens. Entire fleets gone. Communication lines dead. No one could understand what was happening. The Kelrathi admiral slammed his claws on the table. It must be pirates, or some rogue AI swarm. Humans don't have ships capable of this, but others looked uneasy. Every destroyed fleet had one thing in common: strange energy readings that matched Earth's technology. And deep beneath Earth's oceans, the truth was rising. Inside a dark control room under the Pacific Ocean, Commander Ray Donovan stood in silence as hundreds of screens glowed around him. The Aegis Command Center, a secret complex hidden for decades, was now fully awake. "All systems online," said a technician. "Black protocols confirmed. Fleet launch sequence ready." Donovan's eyes stayed on the central display, a holographic image of the solar system. Human fleets, no longer secret, were leaving hidden bases on the Moon, Mars, and the asteroid belt. They were old designs at first glance, but every hull carried something new, something alien, reverse-engineered, perfected, human-made. "Begin Phase 2, Donovan said quietly. "Make them see us." In the cold vacuum of space, the first human strike fleet emerged near the border of the Varathi Empire, the same empire that destroyed the research outpost. Their ships were dark, silent, and massive. "The Varathi patrols noticed them too late. Unknown signatures detected," shouted one alien officer. "They're using stealth fields. Those are impossible." The human fleet opened fire, but their weapons were not plasma or standard railguns. They used gravitationer. The Galactic Council had never been this afraid. Every race, every empire, every admiral knew something had changed. The humans were no longer quiet. They were everywhere. Reports came faster than anyone could process. Whole fleets disappearing, planetary defenses failing. The once proud Council armadas, the same ones that ruled half the galaxy, were being hunted. No one knew how. On the bridge of the Varathi flagship Emperor's Pride, Admiral Korvac bared his fangs. "Find them," he roared. "Find their fleets, their bases, their cursed weapons." His officers scrambled, their claws shaking. "Sir, sensors show nothing. No warp trails. No energy signatures. It's like they vanish after every attack." "Impossible." Korvac slammed his fist. "No one can hide from our scanners." But as he spoke, a quiet alarm beeped. The tactical officer's eyes widened. "Sir, there's something behind us." Before Korvac could even turn, the stars outside the viewport twisted, then bent. A shadow appeared where there had been only empty space. A human warship. Massive. Silent. Its black hull shimmered like liquid metal. Then, without warning, white light filled the bridge. The Emperor's Pride was gone. Across the galaxy, the same nightmare unfolded. Human fleets struck like ghosts. They appeared in one system, destroyed everything, and vanished before anyone could respond. Alien scientists tried to study the attacks, but every battlefield was clean. No debris, no wreckage, just silence. Even the stars seemed colder after humans passed through. Meanwhile, in Earth's secret command center, Commander Ray Donovan studied the latest updates. The walls were covered in floating maps of the galaxy, red zones for alien control, blue for human presence. The blue was spreading. Fast. "Admiral Kane's fleet has taken Sector 12, reported an aide. Council response collapsed within 3 hours. 3 hours, Donovan whispered. They lasted longer than most. He turned to his communications officer. "Transmit message Delta 7, yes sir. To all fleets?" "To all of them." Donovan's eyes were hard. "Let every human soldier hear it." Moments later, across the void, a message echoed through every ship, every base, every human outpost. "For the fallen of Earth, we do not stop. For every insult, for every life taken, we return with fire." The Council tried one last effort. They gathered their strongest fleets, hundreds of ships from a dozen species, and formed a barrier around their home world. Millions of lives waited behind those defenses. They thought they were safe, until the sky turned black. First came the silence. Every sensor went dark. Every communication signal cut out. Then the stars vanished, blotted out by massive shadows. Thousands of human ships emerged from stealth, surrounding the planet like a wall of moving metal. The aliens stared at the screens in horror. "They're everywhere," whispered one council guard. "Impossible. How can they have so many?" Admiral Therian, the council's supreme commander, tried to keep calm. Fire all weapons. Don't let them close in. But it was too late. Human ships didn't need to close in. Their weapons reached across the void. Blue-white lances of energy ripped through the Council fleet. Battleships crumbled. Carriers exploded in seconds. Even the mighty dreadnoughts, ships that had once ruled empires, broke apart like glass. Every alien watching from the planet below saw the same terrifying truth. The Council's fleets were falling. Inside her flagship, the Eclipse, Captain Mira Kane watched the destruction in silence. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with a quiet rage. They wanted war, she said softly. Now they see what war truly is. Her first officer turned toward her. The Council requests surrender talks, ma'am. Mira's jaw tightened. Do they remember the outpost they destroyed? The humans they called animals? The soldiers they left to die in the void? He hesitated. No, ma'am. Then they're not ready to talk. The Eclipse fired again. Another alien capital ship vanished in light. Down on the planet, the Council chambers shook. Delegates screamed. Security officers ran in panic. One alien senator shouted, "We must beg for mercy." Another replied, "Humans have no mercy left." In the center of the chaos, the holographic map flickered. The Council's once glorious empire now looked like scattered ashes. And then, suddenly, the room fell silent. A transmission was coming through. An open channel from the human flagship. Mira Kane's face appeared on every screen. Her expression was calm, but her voice carried the weight of a storm. "Council leaders," she said, "you mocked Earth. You limited our reach. You took our people. You called us weak." She leaned closer to the camera. "Now you understand what weakness looks like because it's yours." The aliens trembled. Some cried. Others fell silent. "This war ends when we say it ends," she continued. Not before. Her image flickered out. The silence that followed felt like the air before thunder. Ending suspense. As the Council's surviving ships fled into deep space, their sensors picked up something even worse, a colossal structure moving through the void. It was not a ship. Not a base, it was Earth's final weapon, a dark fortress large enough to eclipse a moon. Its engines glowed like burning suns. The message that followed was short and terrifying. Phase 3, Judgment. The galaxy went quiet. Everyone knew. The final strike was coming. The stars burned red. Wreckage drifted through silent space. Broken ships, shattered weapons, and pieces of the once mighty Galactic Council fleet. The war that began with laughter was ending in whispers. Every surviving alien ship now fled toward deep space. The Council worlds, once proud and shining, had turned dark. Entire empires fell silent. And in the center of it all, a shadow moved through the stars. The Fortress of Earth, a colossal war structure hidden for decades beneath the moon's surface, now revealed itself. Its engines glowed like suns. Its hull was black as night, and its name burned across every transmission: Judgment. Inside the fortress, Commander Ray Donovan stood before a vast screen showing the galaxy. Entire regions were marked with blue human symbols. Earth had become the strongest military power in known space, but his face wasn't filled with pride. It was calm, cold, focused. He turned to his officers. "Report. All enemy fleets destroyed, sir," replied an aide. "Remaining Council forces have scattered. No unified command left." "Good," Donovan said quietly. "Then it's time." A deep hum filled the air. Dozens of massive cannons on the fortress's outer surface powered up, each capable of destroying an entire planet. "Target. Council core world," Donovan ordered. "Prepare for full planetary strike." On the bridge of the human flagship Eclipse, Captain Mira Kane watched the same world, the Council's capital, through the viewport. Its skies burned. Its defenses were gone. And yet she felt uneasy. Her lieutenant approached. "Command says we're cleared to fire, ma'am." Kane didn't answer right away. Her eyes stayed fixed on the planet below, where billions of lives still lived. Soldiers, civilians, children. "They mocked us," the lieutenant said softly. "They enslaved our people. They called us animals. They deserve this." Mira's jaw tightened. "Maybe they do," she said. "But if we destroy them all, we become what they always said we were." In the Council chambers below, chaos had turned to despair. The last few alien leaders huddled together, watching human fleets blot out the sky. "This is the end," whispered one ambassador. "They will erase us," said another. Then a light flickered, a communication signal. "Weak, fading, but real. Open it," the council speaker shouted. The hologram appeared. Captain Mira Kane's face filled the chamber. She looked at the frightened aliens. Her voice was calm, steady, but filled with fire. "You called us weak. You controlled us. You killed our people. But you never understood us," she said. "When humans are broken, we don't die. We rebuild, we learn. We rise," she paused. "This war was your choice. Its end will be ours." The aliens braced for death, but Mira didn't give the order to fire. Instead, she said one word: "Stand down." Inside the Fortress of Earth, alarms flashed. "Ma'am, we have new orders from Captain Kane," said an operator. "She's halting the strike," Donovan turned sharply. "What?" "She's demanding communication with command, priority level Omega." Donovan frowned. "Put her through." A moment later, her image appeared before him. "Captain," Donovan said coldly, "you are disobeying direct orders." Mira met his gaze without fear. "No, sir. I'm following something higher than orders." "Explain yourself." "This isn't victory anymore," she said quietly. "This is revenge. And revenge has no end." Donovan's eyes narrowed. "They must pay. They already have," Mira said. "They've lost everything. Their fleets, their pride, their power. But if we destroy them now, we lose something greater, our humanity." The room fell silent. Every officer stopped moving. Even the fortress cannons dimmed. Donovan stared at her for a long moment. Then slowly he gave the signal. "All weapons, stand down." For the first time in centuries, the galaxy fell completely silent. Human fleets stopped firing. The alien worlds waited, frozen between hope and fear. Then a new signal echoed across every communication line, from Earth to the edge of the stars. The war is over. Humanity does not destroy. Humanity rebuilds. Weeks passed. The Council's survivors emerged from hiding. Their fleets were gone, but their people were alive. And to their shock, human ships arrived, not with bombs, but with supplies: food, medicine, power cores, engineers. Mira Kane herself stepped onto the Council's broken capital, surrounded by soldiers and peace officers. The aliens bowed their heads, trembling, but she simply said, "We don't rule you. We remind you, respect is earned, not demanded." From that day forward, the